The story continues as Riselia remembers the time when her father and other family members went to fight against the stampede. She asked to come with her father, but he told her to go with Regina and the others. Riselia pleaded with her father and other family members to come with them, but her father explained that he couldn't do that. He had the duty to protect the people living in the city. Riselia asked him to let her fight as well, and her father stated that she could once she awakened her holy sword. He then reminded her of the story about the Demon Lord, suggesting that there might be some truth to it. The Demon Lord, though evil, would appear in their world when needed the most to defeat the voids. Riselia then woke up and noticed 3 skeletons in front of her. Nefekes thought he might have gone a bit overboard with level 3 sorcery. He noticed some skeletons protecting Riselia and wondered who could have summoned them. The undead stated that they seemed to have made it in time and were there to protect Riselia. Nefekes attempted to use level 6 sorcery, but Leonis blasted him with magic before he could. Riselia asked Leonis about the skeletons, and he explained that they were the good luck charms he had given her. The keychains were special amulets used to summon them. The undead introduced themselves as Nefeskel, the wizard of the spirit world, Dora, the champion of the Inferno, and Emilis, swordsman of the Ninth Circle. They claimed to be the 3 warriors of Rognus and started competing to take credit for saving Riselia. Leonis asked them to stop, and he noticed that Nefekes was all right after the spell. Seeing Nefekes's face, Leonis wondered why he was there. Nefekes attempted to attack Riselia, but Leonis overpowered his fire spell with an ice spell. Nefekes was surprised, and Leonis asked him what he was after. Suddenly, they all felt some tremors, and Nefekes began to laugh. He mentioned that Saint Terrace had fulfilled her role by devouring the offerings. He explained that the saint was the vessel of the goddess, and now the goddess would come back to life. This meant that his services were no longer required, and he took his leave, revealing that the world was destined to crumble at the hands of the goddess. Riselia then asks Leonis who this goddess is, and Leonis states that he is not sure. Leonis then recalls seeing Nefekes a millennium ago when he was a retainer to the Lord of the Underworld. He wonders what Nefekes was doing here and if the goddess he spoke of is Riselia. Leonis notices the symbol of the sacred order in the sky, connecting it to the testament of the past when mankind revered the gods. It has strong ties to Terrace as well. Emilis tells Leonis that they have to flee the building. They exit the building and notice something big emerging from underground. William states that this is the Void Lord he mentioned earlier, and Leonis observes that the Void Lord looks like Terrace. Elsewhere, Regina also notices the emergence of the Void Lord in several voids. Elfine tries to contact Riselia, but there is no reply. Sakuya then asks Arl to stay hidden, and she leaves to check things out. Elfine uses one of her drones to launch a signal beacon, mentioning that she has requested backup and advised evacuation. There should be enough time to clear the 7th Assault Guard, and given the circumstance, they don't have the option of retreating and flying back home. She states that defeating the Void Lord is their only option, and Regina suggests rendezvousing with Riselia and Leonis. Elfine mentions that they will need transportation first and asks the others to hold off the voids until she can track down a vehicle. Some voids then attack their group, and while hiding, Arl thinks that she can feel that the goddess has returned. The scene shifts to Riselia and the others fighting the voids, realizing that these voids can regenerate. Sakuya and Regina also discover this fact, wondering what's happening with these voids. Aline runs a scan and finds out that their heads are their weak spots. Sakuya and Regina focus on attacking the void's heads to defeat them. Leonis also identifies the weak spot and believes Terrace, even as a void, possesses a similar ability to restore life. The warriors, including Riselia, continue to defeat the voids by targeting their heads. Leonis notices that the Void Lord is approaching, thinking it will save him the trouble of going to it. Meanwhile, Aline locates a vehicle, and the others follow her to its location. Arl also leaves the building to go somewhere. Leonis and the others persist in taking out the voids, but Leonis realizes there is no end in sight. He decides to take a proactive approach and attacks the Void Lord with a level 10 spell called Aaron. The spell burns through everything in its path, including the Void Lord, but it regenerates instantly, surprising Leonis. The Void Lord then prepares to cast a level 11 spell, prompting Leonis and the undead to cast protective spells to shield Riselia. Aline and the others witness the destruction, seeing a fiery sky. Arl also observes the devastating spell and considers it dreadful. Aline takes action by hacking the vehicles. Leonis asks Riselia to protect him for a minute, intending to finish off the threat. The undead warriors offer their assistance to Riselia. Riselia manifests her blood wings, and together with the undead warriors, she fights the voids effortlessly. Meanwhile, Leonis attempts to use his demon sword against the Void Lord, but the sword gets stuck in midair, refusing to move. He hears a voice asking if he intends to kill her with that demon sword. Surprised, Leonis realizes the voice belongs to Riselia. Riselia informs Leonis that he can't kill her with the sword she gave him. Despite the confusion, Leonis manages to attack the Void Lord with the demon sword, but the Void Lord defends itself. The Void Lord then unleashes arrows, injuring both Riselia and Leonis. Leonis falls from the sky, gravely injured. The Void Lord prepares for another level 11 spell. In response, Riselia dons the vampire dress that Leonis gave her and delivers a powerful long-range strike to the Void Lord, preventing it from casting the level 11 spell. The undead warriors protect Leonis from other voids. Riselia checks on Leonis, who, in a dreamlike state, recalls a conversation with Riselia. In the dream, Leonis promises to find Riselia, but she asks him to make another promise, to kill her if she becomes something else entirely. Upon regaining consciousness in Riselia's arms, Leonis urges her to run away, feeling responsible for involving her in this situation. He contemplates whether Riselia has been corrupted by the voids and questions why he has been brought back to this world after 1,000 years. Leonis believes there's no point in his existence if Riselia is not with him. He recalls telling Riselia that he won't kill her, but she asked him to forget what she said, reminding him to find her true self. Riselia mentioned that the demon sword she gave him would guide him to his fate. Determined, Leonis starts to move. Leonis awakens, realizing that Riselia had placed a seal on his memory to make him forget his promise to her. Despite this, he is determined and stands up, witnessing Terse regenerating. He vows to do whatever it takes to find the real Riselia. Picking up the demon sword again, Riselia inquires about his wounds, and he explains that he's now fine because she saved him by using her mana to heal him. Confused about the timing of his returned memories, he wonders if it's because of Riselia returning the blood she had drained from him. Turning to Riselia, Leonis asks her to rip part of her dress, and she complies. He uses it to fully heal his wounds as Terse begins to rise, and the two prepare to fight. However, their plans are interrupted by William, who also wants to lend his strength. William asks if Leo can use his magic to put their souls to rest, feeling like they've fulfilled their duty as knights of Celia's family. Riselia asks if he can do it, and Leo confirms that he can. One of the knights explains that some knights' souls turned into voids when Terse appeared 42 days ago. Leonis looks around and sees several soul orbs, realizing that Terse turned into a Void Lord on the same day his seal was broken. Terse used the souls of the knights, turning them into voids to attack the assault garden. William asks for their wish to be fulfilled, and Leonis promises to give them a place for their souls to rest. He uses the demon sword to cast a spell that absorbs all the souls into an orb. The knights express gratitude for fulfilling their last request, but Leo has another favor to ask. He wants the knights to help them and summons several skeleton knights from the ground, merging the knights' ghost forms with these new bodies. William realizes that he can now fulfill his duty as a knight. Turning to Riselia, Leonis explains that he still hasn't recovered enough power to defeat Terse. That's why she and the knights must find a way to buy him some time, especially since Terse will summon several other voids. Riselia assures him, raising her holy sword, and uses her own blood to create several spears for the knights. Every skeleton knight gets excited, ready to join the fight. Meanwhile, Elfine finishes getting ready with her team to face the Void Lord. They gear up to leave on their bikes, but Arl stops them. She expresses her desire to join the fight. Regina thinks it's not a good idea since Arl is still injured. Suddenly, a void approaches Arl, but she effortlessly deletes it with a swing. Impressed, the girls learn that Arl is strong enough to take on the Void Lord. Arl claims her holy sword was made to destroy these monsters. Sakuya steps forward, suggesting that defeating the Void Lord would be easier with her power. She asks Aline to let her join, promising to protect the girls if anything goes wrong. Aline agrees, and they prepare to head out. Back with Riselia, she's battling the voids alongside the soldiers. Each soldier proves capable of handling the monsters, giving Leonis the time he needs to recover his power by absorbing the remaining lost souls. However, Leonis feels like it's taking too long. Meanwhile, the girls are on their way to meet Leonis and Riselia but notice a large number of voids around. Aline decides to use her power to drive Regina's bike, allowing Arl to attack the flying voids. Regina accepts the plan and summons her cannon to shoot down the beast. A void targets Aline, but Sakuya swiftly slices it in half. Riselia instructs the knights to move forward while maintaining formation. However, she doesn't notice a void attacking her from behind. One of the skeletons defeats the void, and another catches her. To Riselia's surprise, she realizes she isn't injured. The skeletons explain it's because she has the Vampire Queen's power, possibly due to her dress, as Leonis had mentioned it would help her control her power. Riselia flies back up to continue the fight, determined to protect Leonis. Strangely, the skeletons start flying and defeating several voids in midair, showcasing their surprising strength. Riselia then notices something on her back. Leonis is absorbing a massive quantity of souls, and the ball has become huge. The Void Lord observes this and begins casting several magic circles. Leonis knows this is bad, realizing he still needs more time to use his full power. Terce's magic circle changes direction toward them, prompting Leonis to yell at everyone to run away and take cover. The situation intensifies as they brace for the impending clash with the formidable Void Lord. Terce, the powerful foe, activates magic, launching magma balls toward everyone. In response, pairs of people group up, with one creating a shield using magic while the other flies them away to safety. Riselia checks on Leonis, who reassures her that he's okay but needs a bit more power. Elfine and the girls watch the battle from a distance, trying to contact Riselia. Regina is worried, but Elfine isn't sure about everything. Suddenly, a massive void appears behind them. Regina attempts to shoot it down, but it proves resilient. The void activates a powerful move with 4 laser beams. Out of nowhere, Sherry intervenes, using a whip to thrust the void into a building and destroy it. She calmly mentions that she completed her task as the Demon Lord and heads back to the battle. The skeletons, doing their best to defeat the voids, continue their efforts. Leonis finishes absorbing enough power, creating a huge ball. However, Terce conjures another spell with multiple magic circles. Leonis begins transferring the absorbed souls into his demon sword. Strangely, Terce forgets about her magic circles and decides to pick up a building instead. Unable to move, Leonis combines Riselia's Vampire Queen powers with her holy sword to slice the building in half. Leonis recalls Roselia's words, realizing that she asked him to kill the future fake version of her and find the real goddess. He charges the sword with the power of the souls and activates his own power. However, Terce activates a divine shield, surprising Leonis. Nevertheless, he has no other option. Meanwhile, the girls are getting closer to Terce. Auril gets up, charging up her attack. Sakuya instructs Elfine to get them closer, and everyone prepares to attack simultaneously. Sakuya and Regina use their holy swords to open a breach in the barrier, giving Auril an opportunity to cast her attack. The attack hits Terce, who deactivates the barrier. Leonis is confused about who broke the barrier, but doesn't have time to dwell on it. He uses all the stored power and casts it on Terce. The void's body slowly starts disappearing, leaving Riselia in disbelief. She recalls her father's words about the Demon Lord appearing to protect humanity from the voids. The voids vanish, followed by Terce. The assault city stops moving, signaling their victory. In the aftermath, the souls of the knights leave the skeleton bodies. William expresses pride in fighting alongside Riselia in their final moments. Riselia mentions that he would be prouder if he fought alongside her parents and sister. Before disappearing, William reveals that she's the last survivor of the family and should make them all proud. The girls arrive, and Riselia runs towards Regina's arms. The group is overjoyed to see everyone safe. Sakuya explains that Auril helped destroy the divine barrier. Choppers arrive, and Fenris is relieved that Riselia and the rest are safe. They quickly step inside, marking the end of their intense battle. Leonis becomes certain that Auril is the one who destroyed the barrier. However, he's puzzled about how a hero from 1,000 years ago could still be alive. Riselia notices his concern and asks why he looks worried. Leonis assures her that he's fine. He spots a book in her hands and learns that she found it in her father's study, deciding to keep it as a memento. Unfortunately, she can't understand the language in the book, but she mentions that her father could read it, and it talks about the Demon Lord. Leonis is surprised, and Riselia explains the legend of the Demon Lord, once a hero. Leonis's reaction nearly gives him away, and Riselia wonders why he's acting strange. Despite this, he manages to brush it off. Upon returning, Leonis informs Blackus about Nefekes and instructs him to investigate. He reveals that Nefekes caused the situation with Terce and believes he must know something about Riselia. Sherry also shares her concerns about Auril, warning Leonis to be careful. Shelley then asks if Leonis gave the true ancestor dress to Riselia. He confirms that he did, and she playfully calls him an idiot while looking at her maid dress. Leonis, puzzled, asks her why she's calling him an idiot, which agitates him. Suddenly, Riselia enters the scene, and Leonis, upon seeing her, asks why she is dressed in a particular way. She explains that the dress used up all her mana, leaving her unable to wait any longer. Without hesitation, she jumps on Leonis to drink his blood, and he requests her to be gentle. The focus then shifts to Regina, who announces that she will prepare some sweets for Leonis. Meanwhile, Elfine is conducting research, suspecting a possible connection between the attacks on the 7th Assault Garden and the 3rd Assault Garden. The narrative then transitions to Sakuya, who is training with the goal of surpassing Arl. The scene changes to Arl, who gets up and wonders about her whereabouts. Realizing that she hasn't faded yet, she believes there must be something she has to do. Arl decides to take action, stealing the sword and breaking the wall to run away. This alerts everyone, and Leonis reflects on the rowdiness of his kingdom. However, he decides to let it go, acknowledging that he hasn't gained complete control of the kingdom yet. Nonetheless, he understands that it's not the end. He has to find Riselia and expand his forces until all human territories belong to him. Additionally, he expresses the desire to re-establish his Demon Lord army and make the humans bow at his feet. But for now, he wants to enjoy his time with Riselia. This brings an end to our episode.